People want to see other people burn for Jesus. There's something magnetic about someone who's on fire for Jesus. That's what got me. A youth leader and some youth coaches who are on fire for the Lord. And some of you have that fire, some of you need to kindle that fire. I want to introduce you to a young man in our church who has that fire. His name's Keola. Keola is the son of Kanani, which many of you know, and Bill Delaney. And this guy has just been on a wild journey. If some of you remember, a few years ago, Keola was with us and got on fire for the Lord, made some bad choices, ended up at the bottom again, moved back here where he felt like I need to get back with the Lord, and this time he is just burning on fire for the Lord. So Keola, welcome this morning. Thank you for joining us. You told me when I shared with you the story that we were going to talk about today that you could identify or relate to the woman at the well. How so?
Well, I mean, all of us here can relate to the woman in the well. You know, we all put our faith in things, and with me, I put my faith in things like money, like my addictions, like relationships, like my friends, and I watched them one by one fail me. And an example of that was my previous relationship with the mother of my child. I thought, hey, she's going to fix me. She's going to make me better. And when that wasn't satisfying, I went back to the well, and I medicated myself with drugs, with alcohol, until I started to down spiral even further. And it was my parents that saved me. They brought me to the well, to that place where I would get that thirst quenched. I would get that satisfaction. They put me here. They brought me here to a church family that would love on me no matter how dark my past was. And that's what Jesus does for all of us.
That's awesome. Well, Keola, one of the things I've watched you, almost every Sunday you're telling me about people that have watched things you posted online about the church. You've introduced me to people you've invited to church and said, you need to meet this other friend of mine that I brought to church. Man, what's been stirring within your heart with this kind of passion for reaching people?
Well, it's definitely due to my past. I might not have had it as rocky as some people, but if any of you have seen my testimony or want to ask me about it, I definitely come from a rocky past. And I know some of you guys, again, have it harder out there than I do, but I also know that all of you guys out there hear that voice too. And that voice is calling you to be the light. Before, when I sat with Darrin on Friday, when he asked me about this, I thought it was funny sitting here this morning and seeing that some of the things I was writing down prepared to speak to you guys about was the exact things he had in his sermon, to be the light for others. You guys have seen and been witnesses to other people being saved if you haven't been saved, and you know what that feeling's like. And I have a fire for other people to have that in their life.
Well, what's been the effect of you reaching out to these people, these old friends of yours, even the casual friends on Facebook? What's been the impact of you reaching out to them with Christ?
Well, I do get a satisfaction out of it, but it's more satisfying to watch, like my best friend that's here. He's been coming for about 2 months now, but just watching what God does in his life. A lot of us can testify to what God has done in our lives, and we all have testimonies. And our testimonies might affect just one person, but if it affects one person, that's one more person, that's one more victory. And I feel God has been calling me to bring people out of dark areas because I've been in those avenues, and people see me as genuine. And even though, I might not be clean to what some people believe and whatnot, we all make mistakes. And like Darrin was saying, with sinning and things like that, as long as you have a relationship with Christ, I love seeing that with other people. It melts my heart to see my friends here. It melts my heart to see somebody that I don't even know message me, how do you do it? And it's not me. If it was me, I wouldn't have to look in the mirror every day and say what's wrong with myself. It's God that does this for us.
That's awesome. Well, one thing you shared with me is this almost a hunger of saying, what's God's future plan for me? Maybe I need to go off to college or something. And it's a common thing where people will say, Pastor, I feel like I'm called to go to like a Bible college or learn scriptures. But most of us will never do that. In fact, I don't even know if you have to do that necessarily. So I don't want you to be discouraged that you've got to have a special degree to be a witness for Christ. In fact, Keola's doing it right now without a Bible degree. So Keola, what would you say to someone in this church that feels like, I don't know if I can be an effective witness? Where do I start?
Well, I'm in a ministry called Celebrate Recovery, and what that ministry has taught me is to have that fire for other people, to be, if you guys don't know what an accountability partner is, the first step is getting into a relationship with a friend, with a family member, with your other half, and making a commitment with them and with God to have them here on Sundays so you guys can hear the lessons that God has for you. It might be Pastor Sam preaching. It might be Pastor Dustin. It might be me standing up here. But God's going to be ministering directly to your heart. And if you're missing out on that, you're never going to see that. You need to invite people. You need to have other people come into the ministries. Whether you're having problems with your marriage and you know of the ministries, the church has Reengage. It has Celebrate Recovery. There's a financial peace. You guys know of these ministries. The church has a kit, a toolkit that is not out to be borrowed or not to be lent. It's meant for you to take for the rest of your life, and that gift is Jesus.
Amen. Well, thank you, Keola. The church, our church, wants to partner with you and equip you for your mission. So my question for you today is, will you accept the mission that God has given you as a believer in Jesus Christ, to be a witness for him, to share in ever-widening circles what God has done in Jesus Christ through you and for them? Are you willing to step up and say, God, show me where you want me to go. Lead me to the people you want me to speak. I'm going to put myself out there. And so today I'm going to ask you to stand and say yes to this mission.